Okay, good morning everyone. So for today's session, we are going to discuss the continuation of last week's discussion regarding the functions as models. So last time, we've discussed the 5 models, the table of values, mapping diagram, equation, the graph, and the machine. So we've also discussed the differences between relation and function. Okay, so for today, we are going to discuss the domain, real-life examples of function, and at this point, malalaman natin bakit mahalaga na alam natin ang domain when we are evaluating functions. Okay, the last time na nag-discuss tayo is all about the functions as an equation wherein given tayo ng function and tayo ang nag-a-assume ng value ng x or tayo ang nagbibigay ng value, sinasubstitute natin sa given equation and nalalaman natin kung ano ba yung values ng y. Okay? And sa part na yon, nalalaman din natin yung domain. Remember, domain is a set of values that the variable x can take. Okay, so simply, it is the set of values or possible values of x na pwede nating gamitin para malaman natin ano ba yung possible values ng x ang magsasatisfy dito sa ating given functions or equations. Okay, and we will use these 5 examples kasi ito yung ginamit natin sa functions as an equation para malaman natin kung ano yung kanilang domain. So for letters A and B, na-prove natin that all real numbers will satisfy in our given function, 2x plus 1 and x squared minus 2x plus 2. Meaning, fractions, decimals, whole numbers, integers, natural numbers, we can use all the real numbers and magsasatisfy pa din yon sa ating function. Okay? For letter C, although this is not a function, pero 'di ba nalaman naman natin na pwede nating gamitin as domain ang positive 1 and negative 1. Because it will result to a certain value of y. Pero again, please take note that letter C is not a function because this is an equation for a circle. Okay? For letter D, we proved that we can use negative 1 and all positive numbers up to positive infinity. So in case gamitin nyo yung ibang negative numbers, it will result to an imaginary number. Take note, an imaginary number does not exist. Meron kang x pero wala kang value ng y kasi hindi nag-exist yung y mo. Okay? Kaya tandaan niyo po yung domain kasi kahit given lang kayo ng function, alam niyo yung domain, malalaman niyo na agad yung sagot kahit hindi na kayo mag-provide ng solution. For letter E, this is a fraction type. So we can use all positive and negative numbers up to positive or negative infinity except positive 1. So we cannot use positive 1 because it will result to an undefined number. Okay, let's say x is 1. 1 minus 1, that is 0. Any fraction na meron 0 as denominator, it is called an undefined number. Existing yung value ng x natin, existing din yung value ng y, pero wala siyang definite na value. Okay? Parang meron kang x, pero yung y mo, hindi mo matukoy kung ano ba talaga yung value niya. Okay? So, ito yung tinatawag nating domain. And then, we also have this one. So, this is what we call the function of x. This is aligned dito sa una kong binigay na example. Tinanggal lang natin yung letter C kasi na-prove naman natin that this is not a function. Okay? Pero dito, kung napapansin nyo, ang nakalagay dyan ay y. Pero dito ang nakalagay ay ito. F of x, Q of x, G of x, R of x. So meaning, we are going to use the value of x for us to find the value of y. And nangyayari naman yun talaga sa lahat. Kasi kumbaga yun yung foundation natin. Without the value of x, we cannot determine the value of y. We cannot calculate the value for y. That is why nire-replace natin yan ng f of x, q of x, g of x, r of x. Wherein yung f, q, g, and r ay kahit anong variables. Okay, nakadepende po yan sa inyo. Pero ang basa natin dyan ay function of x. Okay, so dito na papasok ang importance ng x para mahanap natin ang y. Okay, next, we are going to discuss functions as representations of real-life situations. Although yung function kasi, hindi naman natin yan nakikita everyday. Pero alam natin na ginagamit natin yan in our daily life. Kahit yung simpleng pagbili natin sa tindahan, ginagamitan yan ng function. Pwedeng ikaw, pwede yung tindera mismo. Okay? And kahit sa mga professional field, like sa engineering, architecture, yan yung mga common na field na ginagamitan ng function. Especially pag magko-construct ng structures, yan. So gamit na gamit ang function. Okay? Kahit sa medical science, mga doctors, scientists, mathematicians, ginagamitan yan ng functions. And when we say functions, involved dito yung 4 fundamental operations. Okay? So, they are called addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Katulad nito, kahit bumili tayo sa tindahan, di ba, hindi naman tayo nagpo-provide ng equation para malaman kung magkano yung total mong babayaran. Pero alam natin na ina-applyan natin yan ng 4 fundamental operations. Okay, so we'll discuss number 1. Give a function C that can represent the cost of buying X meals if 1 meal cost 40 pesos. So ito na yung ina-example ko na sa simpleng pagbili natin sa tindahan, ina-applyan na pala natin yun ng function. So, ang hinahanap natin dito is the function itself. Hindi tayo humahanap dito ng eksaktong sagot kung magkano yung kailangan mong bayaran. Okay? Pero meron tayong given, the cost of buying X meals. So, yung quantity ay hindi naka-indicate sa problem natin. Instead, we use the variable X. And then, cost that is 40 pesos. So kung gusto natin malaman yung total payment for a certain number of meals, ang ginagamit nating operation ay multiplication. Therefore, our function would be C of x is equal to 40 times x or 40x. Meaning, we're just going to get the product of 40, which is the cost, and yung x natin, which is the number of meals, for us to know the total cost of buying those meals. Okay? For example, x natin is equivalent to 5. So, bumili tayo ng 5 meals that cost 40 pesos each. So, ang gagawin natin is 40 multiplied by 5. And we'll be having 200 pesos. Okay, so ang total cost pala natin when we buy 5 meals is 200 pesos. We cannot use division. 40 divided by 5 is 8 pesos. So very impossible naman na mas malaki pa yung cost per each sa total cost, 'di ba? Another one, we can use addition. Okay? Kaya lang, syempre doon na tayo sa mas simplified, kung saan tayo mas mapapadaling mag-solve. And we cannot use subtraction kasi hindi rin yan magsasatisfy dito sa ating hinahanap. Okay? So, ito yung ina-explain ko kanina na ito, hindi naman natin na to sinusulat pa sa papel para malaman kung magkano yung total na babayaran. Instead, ang ginagawa natin ay sinasubstitute na agad. Kasi you can solve that mentally. Meron na din tayong calculators. So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo na kailangan pa na magsulat sa papel, ilagay yung equation, and then mag-substitute. Okay? So, that's for example number 1. And this is a real-life application of functions. Another example. 100 meters of fencing is available to enclose a rectangular area next to a river. Give a function A that can represent the area that can be enclosed in terms of x. So at this point, medyo na siya, nakakalito. Kasi hindi na natin sure ano ba talaga yung hinahanap. Meron tayong given na 100 meters. Tapos, ang hinahanap natin dito is the area. The function of the area. So, ibig sabihin, itong 100 meters na given pala is hindi siya yung mismong area. Okay? So, kailangan natin mag-isip para saan ba yung 100 meters. And yung 100 meters natin dyan ay para sa perimeter. Okay? Diba, pag nagsusukat naman tayo, ang ginagamit lang natin is yung edges. Yun lang yung sinusukat natin. Tama? So, let's say this is our illustration. This is the rectangular field. And beside or dun sa upper part niya ay may river. So, ibig sabihin, itong part na to, hindi na siya lalagyan ng fencing material. Okay? Ang nilalagyan lang natin is ito sa left, one from the right, at itong nasa bottom part. So, yung 100 meters na yun yung sukat ng fencing material na gagamitin natin dito sa tatlong sides. Okay? So, perimeter, it is the sum of the sides ng isang polygon. Specifically, rectangle. Kasi ito yung given natin sa ating problem. Ibig sabihin, ang hinahanap natin dyan is the function of the area. Remember, the formula of having an area of a rectangle is length times width. And the formula for having perimeter is 2 length plus 2 width. Okay? Pero again, ang hinahanap lang natin dito is the area. Actually, ito na yung sagot natin. This is the function itself. Length times width. Kaya lang, meron tayong condition sa problem, kailangan daw po is in terms of x. So, instead of using L and W, we are going to use X and Y. Okay? So, ang area natin is magiging X times Y. A is equal to X times Y, wherein ang X natin is the length and yung Y natin is the width. Okay? Kaya lang, dito sa ating problem, sabi nga dito, X lang ang kailangan. Etong x natin dito, which is the length, wala na tayong problem because it is denoted as x. So kung x na yan, hindi na natin yan papalitan. Okay? And yung y natin dito, ito lang yung kailangan muna nating hanapin. Bakit? Kasi kailangan gawin natin yan in terms of x. Para meron na tayong formula or function for the area. Okay? So again, yung area, ito yung nawawala pa. X natin, okay na to. Kasi X na siya dito, so wala nang problem dyan. And yung Y natin dito, ito yung kailangan pa nating hanapin. And I'm sure na-experience nyo to during elementary and junior high school. Wherein, nahihirapan talaga tayo maghanap ng value kapag dalawang variables yung nawawala. Just like number 2 example. Wala yung A, wala yung Y. Number 1, may hirapan tayong alamin ano ba yung dapat unahin. Yung area ba or yung Y? Pangalawa, paano ba natin isosolve? Halimbawa, nalaman natin na Y pala yung unang hahanapin. Paano ba natin yon hahanapin? Okay, paano ba natin isosolve muna ang Y? So, yun yung common na problem na na-encounter. Okay? That is why, dito papasok ang perimeter. Actually, yung 100 meters dito, hint na yan. Okay? This is one hint para gamitin natin ang perimeter. And with the use of the perimeter, mahanap natin ang y at mahanap din natin ang area. Okay? So, let us substitute the given value. The perimeter is 100 meters is equal to 2 length plus 2 width. Kaya lang, if we're going to base our equation dito sa ating problem and our illustration, hindi daw natin lalagyan ng fencing material itong upper part. Kasi meron niyang river dito, beside. So, ibig sabihin, hindi natin yan pwedeng lagyan ng 100 meters na fencing material. Just like what I've said earlier, itong tatlo lang, ito, nasa right, tsaka itong nasa baba, yung 100 meters. So, definitely, if x is our length, mawawala na yung 2 dito. Okay? Kumbaga, length na lang siya. Plus, yung width natin, dalawa pa din naman. So, magiging 2 width. Okay? And para mahanap natin ang y, katulad dito sa problem in terms of x, papalitan din natin to ng variables. So, we are going to write it as 100 is equal to x plus 2y. And dito sa equation natin, alam natin na pwede nating mahanap yung y. Tama? Yung 100 hindi na natin nahanapin kasi that's the perimeter itself. Yung x natin hindi na rin kailangan hanapin kasi in terms of x na siya. So hindi mo na kailangan paltan. Ibig sabihin, with the use of the formula given sa ating perimeter, pwedeng mahanap natin ang value ng y. Okay? So if we're given a is equal to x times y muna ang unang goal natin, nahahanapin. Pangalawa, pag nahanap na natin ang y, we can formulate a function for the area. Okay, so this will be our goals para dito sa number 2 example. A is equal to xy. Again, ito yung pangalawang goal natin. Yung x, okay na. Yung y, ang unang goal. And we're going to use the formula for the perimeter. 100 is equal to x plus 2y. Interchange lang natin kasi mas sanay tayo, di ba, na yung variables or kung ano yung hinahanap natin ay nasa left. Then all constant numbers are located at the right part. And then at this point, since y lang naman yung hinahanap natin, so we need to eliminate x. Not totally naaalisin natin siya sa equation. We're just going to transpose it to the other side para maiwan na lang dito yung y, kung ano ba yung mismong hinahanap natin. So we'll be having 2y is equal to 100. When we transpose positive x to the right part, it will become negative x. Okay? And then, again, so y lang yung kailangan natin, so we need to eliminate 2 by dividing both sides by 2. Actually, you can use the multiplication property. Multiply both sides by 1/2 para mas ma-apply nyo yung properties na na-discuss nyo ng elementary or junior high school. But syempre, kanya-kanyang technique yan. We can use division. So cancel this one. And then may iwan dyan ng y. Copy 100 minus x over 2. Alam natin na 102 ay divisible pareho by 2. Pero hindi natin yan pwedeng i-cancel agad-agad. Because 100 and x are separated by a negative sign. Kumbaga, this is considered as one item. Kaya hindi natin siya pwedeng i-cancel by 2. So, ang gagawin natin, paghihiwalayin muna. 100 over 2 minus x over 2. Okay lang naman yun, walang problem. Kasi pareho naman yung denominators natin. Tama? And at this point, pwede na natin yan i-simplify. Since magkahiwalay na yung 100 and x, ito pwede na natin i-cancel. 100 divided by 2, that's 50. minus x over 2. Ito pwede nyo nang gamitin as is. Pero mas madadalian kasi tayo kung decimal ang gagamitin instead of fraction. And I'm sure na mag-agree kayo dyan na mas mahirap talaga mag-solve using fraction. Especially kung wala ka namang calculator. Okay? So, meron tayong imaginary 1 here. 1 divided by 2, that's 0.5 and then copy x. And this will be our final value for y. 50 minus 0.5x. So, yung y natin, na-transform na natin siya into x. Tama? So, okay na yung first goal natin. Pangalawang goal natin, once na nahanap na yung y, maghahanap na tayo ng function for the area. Okay, so balik tayo dito. Area is equal to x times y. And then yung x natin, copy. Kasi as is na po yan, hindi nyo na kailangan hanapin. And then substitute the value of y na nanggaling dito, which is 50 minus 0.5x. Okay, please enclose into parentheses para hindi kayo nalilito kung anong operation ang i-apply. Okay? And then by distributive property, we can simplify this. X times 50, that's 50x. X times negative 0.5x, that's negative 0.5x squared. Please take note of the laws of exponents. Okay, i-recall nyo lang. Kasi kung maalam nga kayo gumamit ng distributive property, pero hindi nyo naman sa ulado ang laws of exponents, magkakamali kayo ng sagot. Okay, i-recall nyo lang po. And we are going to use the laws of exponents sa mga susunod nating discussions. So, our final answer here is the function of area is equal to 50x minus 0.5x squared. Ito na yung final answer natin. Wala na tayong problem. Kasi in terms of x na lang yan. Unlike this one, katulad nga nung sinabi ko kanina, mahirap kapag dalawang variables pa yung kailangan mong hanapin. Okay? So instead of xy, ang gagamitin na natin ay 50x minus 0.5x squared. Once na given yung value ng x sa ating problem at sinubstitute natin yan dito sa ating function, alam na agad natin ang value ng area. Okay? And that's the use of the function. Napapaikot-ikot natin kahit mga sinaunang formula pa. Okay? And that is for example number 2. Okay, next we have the piecewise functions. So by definition, it is a function that is defined by different formulas or functions for each given interval. Piecewise function is not familiar to us. Even ako, actually hindi ako familiar dyan until I taught and handled general mathematics way back 2017. So, dun ko lang siya nalaman kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng piecewise. Okay? Although hindi siya familiar sa atin, hindi natin alam, everyday pala natin yan ginagamit. Okay? Katulad ng nakalagay dito, for every given interval, meron tayong nabubuo na iba't ibang formulas or functions. For example, ang given interval natin is all about distance. So, for example, from your home to your school, that's 5 kilometers. From the school to the market, that's another 5 kilometers. So, this is the market. Ito yung interval natin dyan. So, this is the first interval. This is the second interval. So, ibig sabihin, bawat interval natin, may iba't iba tayong function na ginagamit. For example, ang destination mo ay sa school. Meron tayong tinatawag na minimum fare. Sa mga public transport, di ba, meron tayong minimum fare. Let's say, ang fare from your home to the school is 15 pesos. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, hanggang school lang talaga yung destination mo. Once na ang market ang destination mo, magkakaroon ka ng additional na fare or additional na pamasahe. Tama? And I'm sure na-experience nyo naman yan. Especially kung kayo ay laging nagko-commute. So, na-experience nyo talaga yan. For example, kung this is additional 5 kilometers and we are about to pay 1 peso per kilometer, so magiging pamasahe mo na ay 20 pesos. Tama? 15 pesos plus kung ilan ang kilometers na nadagdag. 15 tapos plus 5, ang total fare mo from your home to the market is 20 pesos. Okay? Kaya kung napapansin nyo, di ba may mga taripa na naka-display sa tricycle or sa jeepney. Yun. So, yun po yung use nun. Para alam nyo, halimbawa, lumampas kayo dun sa minimum na kilometers. Alam nyo kung magkano yung idadagdag nyo na pamasahe. Okay? So, that's the use of the piecewise function. Ito yung first function natin. Ito yung second function. Okay? Pero di ba kapag ang destination mo is halimbawa hanggang dito lang, siguro mga 2.5 kilometers, 15 pesos pa rin yung kailangan mong bayaran because that's the minimum fare. Okay? So, take note of the piecewise function. Another example, a user is charged 300 pesos monthly for a particular mobile plan, which includes 100 free text messages. Messages in excess of 100 are charged 1 peso each. Represent the amount a consumer pays each month as a function of the number of message sent in a month. First is to analyze the problem. Do not rely too much on the numerical data. Okay, ang mahalaga, bawat terms na ginagamit natin sa problem ay alam natin yung use. Okay, hindi lang tayo basta tumitingin sa numerical data na nasa problem. Okay, so this is a very good example of piecewise. For those na gumagamit ng mobile plan. Yeah, this is one example of piecewise. Di ba kapag naka-plan ka, para lang siyang sa internet connection, kapag ikaw ay naka-wifi, di ba dire-diretso yan, continuous. Okay? Unless ipakat mo yung plan mo, so dun lang matatapos yung babayaran mo. Unlike kapag kayo ay naglo-load. Di ba pag naglo-load kayo, kung kailan nyo lang gusto mag-load, dun lang kayo naglo-load. Hindi siya continuous. For example, nag-load ka ng Monday. That's good for 3 days. So by Thursday, makakat yung load mo. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, kung wala ka namang klase, pwedeng hindi ka na mag-load. Tama? Unlike kapag naka-plan ka, maubos mo man or hindi yung limit, ganun pa rin yung babayaran mo. Continuous pa rin yan. Usually, monthly. Okay? So, ganun din dito sa example natin. We are about to pay 300 pesos for every 100 text messages. And once na nag-exceed tayo ng 100, bawat message na mag-exceed sa atin ay charge ng 1 peso each. Okay? So, ito yung magiging piecewise function natin. Ito yung first interval. If m is greater than 0 but less than 100. Ibig sabihin, from 1 to 100 na text messages, fixed yung kailangan mong bayaran. And that is 300 pesos. So this will be the function 1. Okay? Kahit ang magamit mo lang dyan ay 50, hindi ka magkakaroon ng discount. Okay? Kaya nga, yun yung kasama dito sa ating interval. Kasi fixed na yung babayaran mo na 300 pesos. Kahit nga wala kang magamit sa text messages na yan, may babayaran ka pa ring 300 kasi nakasubscribe ka dyan sa certain plan. Okay? And for our second interval, kapag ang M natin is greater than 100, So once na nag-exceed ka na dun sa ating limit, magkakaroon ka na ng additional charge. That is 1 peso each. Okay? For example, nag-exceed ka ng 5 messages. So instead of 100, ang nagamit mo is 105. So ibig sabihin, yung 100 messages, babayaran mo yung 300. Plus, kung ilan yung labes, that is 5. Kung piso each yan, so magbabayad ka ng 5 pesos. Kaya ang total na babayaran mo dyan is 305 pesos. Tama? So, ganun po yung plan. Ganun sila nagka-compute kung magkano yung binabayaran mo. Sa plan, sa wifi, sa fare, or kung ano mang billings yan. Okay? Usually, ginagamit talaga yan sa billings, yung piecewise. Pero kasi pag naglo-load kayo, di ba, hindi na siya nagdedere-derecho. Halimbawa, once na hindi mo pa natatapos yung 3 days at naubos mo na yung kung ilang gigabytes yung kailangan mong gamitin, inclusion dun sa load mo, wala ka nang pwedeng gamitin. 'Di ba? Unlike kapag naka-plan ka, kahit hindi mo pa natatapos yung 1 month, pwede kang mag-exceed. Yun nga lang, meron kang additional charge. Kapag naglo-load ka lang ang mobile data, hindi ka magkakaroon ng additional na charge kasi hindi ka na naman pwedeng mag-exceed dun sa inclusion na gigabytes. Tama? Let's say nag-load ka ng 50 pesos. 50 pesos is good for 3 days. Ang alam ko 5 gig, di ba? Merong 5 gig niyan sa Globe. So halimbawa, dun sa 3 days na yon ay naubos mo na or wala pang 3 days, naubos mo na yung 5 gigabytes na yon, wala ka nang pwedeng gamitin unless maglo-load ka ulit. So panibago na naman yun na function. Okay? Hindi mo na siya idediretso dito sa ating piecewise. Okay? So that's the main difference of having a mobile plan at kapag ikaw ay naglo-load regularly. Okay? And this is a very good example of piecewise function. So to sum up our discussion, we've discussed the domain for each function. Mahalaga yon para malaman nyo kung hanggang saan lang yung scope or yung limit. And we've also discussed the real-life application of functions. And one example dyan is the piecewise function.